mining camp. In it there had been mixed-up poker chips, a pack of cards flying in the air, much noise of shooting guns and men, and the acrid, choking smell of gunpowder in the air. Sammy Day had escaped through a rear window and hit the long trail. They rode 3 days to overtake him. He hid in a wolf's burrow and soaked in ice-cold mud for hours while he watched the posse pass. Then he started out again, followed the pursuers, slipped past them, and here he was in Circle City. Much of the world, it will be seen, had flowed through the eye and even through the blood of Sammy Day. But for only 10 years had he been a free, independent, self-supporting man. He was now just 22. Most of this picture of Sam Day, he was called by another name in a more southerly land, is necessary to understand what went through his mind as he fumbled 50 cents in his pocket and looked at a 75-cent drink. He was as one who is thirsty, who has been thirsty many times before, and who has generally gratified that thirst. Nagel himself was behind the bar, and he understood the direction of his client's fixed stare and the reason of it. "Have this one on me," he said. "I never take the first drink of the day off the bar," said Sammy. "It's bad luck." There was no argument. "What's in the back room?" asked Sammy Day, hooking a thumb over his shoulder. "Nothing but a little game of craps." "Why, nobody but me knows just how to talk to a pair of dice," remarked Sammy. "Big Joe and Little Joe is a pair of cousins of mine, and there's been 7 days in every week of my life." He went straightway into the gaming room. As he went, he whistled sharp and shrill, but made a melody through his teeth. He found 8 men assembled around a blanket lying on the floor and folded long and smooth. They were bouncing the dice against the wall to make sure of an honest fall. "I've got 50 cents," said Sammy. "Do I fade into this game?" A red-headed man looked at him with a grin. "Here's $50, kid," he said. "You can fade in with that." "I don't borrow stakes," said Sammy Day. "There's no luck in that sort of a play." "You're in with your 50 cents," said the red-headed man. The dice box had come into his hands at this moment, and he grinned at Day again. For half an hour that game continued, uninterrupted. Then Sammy Day put $5 into his pocket. He kept another $25 in the game. Fortune had been kind to him. One sourdough mumbled, "Them that come in with nothin', they can't lose." Sammy overheard. "That's true," he said, "but turn and turnabout is fair play. I've lost my stake in my day to a good many bums with a 2-bit stake." "You've lost your stake," sneered the sourdough. Sammy was holding the dice box. He paused and looked considerately and steadily upon the sourdough. There was a green glint in his eyes. "If you're staring at me," said the sourdough, more ugly than ever, "I'll give you a good reason for looking. Go on with the game." For only an instant Sammy continued to watch the face of the other, and then he said cheerfully, "All right," and cast the dice. He rolled an 11 and took in the bets. He had $50 to play now, but his heart was not in the game. His heart was back there at the bar, thinking about the 75 cents that he could not afford to buy before. He could buy it now, and its twin brother to go down with it. "I'll fade 20 of that," the sourdough was saying. He drew aside that much of the money and covered it with his own. He had a hand that looked fit to throttle an ox. He was brown as old mahogany, and the bony ridges stood out along his cheek at jaw and forehead. He was about 40. He would perhaps have been a terrible antagonist in hand-to-hand conflict. The side glance of Sammy Day was never far away from him. A fond look was in his eyes. He grew dreamy. If his mind was partly on the drink in the bar-room, it still hovered about the formidable figure of the sourdough nevertheless. Then came an interruption. A door slammed, and shouting roared through the big bar-room. Someone called out that Rush Mahan had just pulled in.